Tonight, a 7 investigation just as a new lawsuit is announced against the University of Michigan students who caused all this damage at Treetops, that resort in northern Michigan. The resort says the damage is close to $500,000.
A lot of money. Tonight only on 7. What led up to the trashing by the students and by the resort that is in bankruptcy?
The 7 investigator Jim Kirchner is here and on the case.
The story that's played out in the media is one of Animal House. The kids with a wild party up north, drinking, smoking pot, and trashing the place. But we've obtained documents and police reports that show the story goes a lot further. On Friday, January 16th, 5 buses roll out of Ann Arbor, headed up north. And what could be called a class in destruction 101.
Treetops, Michigan's most spectacular resort.
For the bankrupt resort, the buses were gold. 270 students from the University of Michigan, a weekend getaway for the Sigma Alpha Mu fraternity and Sigma Delta Tau sorority. It turns out they had been here the year before and trashed it the year before. According to records obtained by the 7 investigators, the crew from Sigma Alpha Mu damaged 23 rooms, everything from door frames to vanities and toilets. They paid $7,000 for repairs, and the cops were never called. That was no big deal, said Treetops. It's not unusual for large groups, particularly large groups of students, to accidentally break a table or knock over a lamp, the resort boss told us in a statement. But get this, state police reports show it was Treetops that invited the frat back this year with $7 grand in upfront deposits. The frat president and treasurer were giddy, sending 2 checks and handwritten notes. Thanks again for your cooperation. Looking forward to our stay.
Treetops, Michigan's most spectacular resort. It's pure Michigan.
For security officers at the resort, the students were pure trouble. One officer told state police he was instructed to expect unusual rowdiness. Another says he was told by superiors that damage was not a concern, only the safety of their guests. According to a state police report, the direction provided to the security officers was to keep the fraternity on one side of the inn building. If they remained on that side, they were pretty much free to do what they wanted, short of burning the building down. It didn't take long for the party to get going and raged through the night. By 11 a.m. Saturday, the resort reported students had damaged the handicapped lift in the pool area and 50 ceiling tiles smashed, along with framed pictures, a bed frame, a large window, and holes had been punched in the wall. Again, get this, cops were never called. Treetops management had another idea, more money. More on that in a minute. The local prosecutor would eventually get the case.
They did not have any cameras in the commons areas. Now you have to understand too, when you're dealing with a large group of people and people are doing things within that large group, it sometimes gets extremely difficult to see who is doing exactly what.
State police records show the resort said all 270 students would be kicked out by 1 p.m. unless they kicked in. They wrote this check, another 13 grand. And when the sales manager went to frat treasurer Zach Levin's room, who was keeping track of the students' room assignments, the state police report found he had his own extracurricular activities. Quote, Ballard found Zach in that room and in bed with 3 nude women who had not been identified. Did you note that in the police report?
If you're looking for a salacious comment, you're not going to get it.
In a statement to 7 Action News, Treetops said they did the deal because the damage was significant but non-malicious, and the fraternity president promised the group would be more careful. But as soon as that check was handed over, records show everything went sideways. The security log and other reports from Saturday afternoon and night documented the insanity. As the party raged, ceiling drywall began falling in the daycare. Cans of beer were thrown into the walls right in front of security guards. More ceiling tile were smashed, also right in front of security. Lights and windows were broken. Wheelchairs were trashed. Other guests in the resort went crazy, complaining to the resort throughout the night. One told the front desk they had heard a student say, quote, "We are having a competition with another fraternity by causing damage at the hotel." By the time the smoke cleared Sunday morning, the resort was trashed, and state police were finally called to get the students out. The prosecutor was also called and took action. Frat President Josh Kaplan, Frat Treasurer Zach Levin are charged with a misdemeanor providing a place for underage kids to drink. And a third student, Matthew Vlasic, is charged with a felony, malicious destruction of property.
You'd like to charge as many as possible that you could go into court and make a case.
That's correct.
You only have 3 out of 250.
That's also correct, but steps are being taken, which again I can't go into, to try and determine a number of other people specifically as to who did what.
And we're just getting started. We've uncovered more back and forth between the students and this resort. Plus, the prosecutor is in a bind. More on that coming up tomorrow night. Jim Kurtzner, 7 Action News.